Most people think breaking a bad habit is a willpower problem. It's not. And the moment you understand what it actually is, everything changes. I've gone deep into the psychology of habit loops, behavioral science, and what actually happens inside your brain when a habit takes root. What I'm about to share isn't motivational fluff. It's how habits actually work, and more importantly, how to dismantle the ones destroying your progress. Stay with me because the most important piece of this comes near the end. And once you hear it, you won't be able to unsee it. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. You don't have bad habits because you're lazy. You have them because your brain is extremely good at its job. Think about the last time you picked up your phone without even deciding to. You didn't think, I should check Instagram right now. Your hand just moved. That's not a weakness. That's your brain running an automated program it built to save energy. Here's the science behind it. Your brain has a region called the basal ganglia. Its entire function is to take repeated behaviors and compress them into automatic routines. The more you repeat something, the less conscious effort it requires. Your brain literally stops paying attention. This is brilliant for things like driving or tying your shoes. But it's brutal when the routine is scrolling for 3 hours, stress eating at midnight, or procrastinating every time you open your laptop. Your brain isn't your enemy here. It's just doing what it evolved to do. The problem is that it doesn't discriminate between good habits and bad ones. It just remembers what you did last time. So how does it decide when to run the program? This is where it gets really important. Every habit, every single one, runs on a 3-part loop. Psychologist Charles Duhigg called it the habit loop. Cue, routine, reward. The cue is the trigger. Something in your environment, your emotional state, a time of day, even a person. The routine is the behavior itself. And the reward is the feeling your brain associates with completing it. Here's the part most people miss. The reward doesn't have to be good for you. It just has to feel like relief. If you eat sugar every time you feel anxious, your brain doesn't register, that was unhealthy. It registers, anxiety arrived, sugar followed, and the discomfort went away. Mission accomplished. Loop confirmed. Habit installed. And from that point forward, every time anxiety appears, your brain cues up the sugar. This is why telling yourself, just stop, never works. You're trying to delete a behavior without replacing the reward. Your brain fights back because the reward is still there, still promised, still expected. You can't fight neurology with willpower alone. That's a losing battle every time. So what actually works? The most research-backed strategy isn't elimination. It's a substitution. And there's a very specific way to do it. Neuroscientist and Grabiel's research at MIT found that the cue and the reward of a habit become almost impossible to remove once they're wired together. But the routine in the middle? That's malleable. That's the part you can change. So instead of trying to kill the habit loop entirely, you hijack the middle. Same cue. Different routine. Same reward. Here's a real example. A guy I'll call Marcus, classic late-night binge watching. Every night around 10 p.m., after a long day, he'd open Netflix and watch for 2 or 3 hours. Woke up exhausted. Productivity the next day was destroyed. He kept trying to just go to bed earlier, and kept failing. Why? Because the cue was mental fatigue, that drained, fried feeling at 10 p.m. The routine was passive entertainment. And the reward was emotional escape, a sense of shutting off from the demands of the day. When Marcus tried to eliminate it, he had nothing to give his brain at 10 p.m. when that craving hit. So it returned to the familiar path every time. The shift happened when he kept the cue, 10 p.m., mentally drained, but replaced the routine with something that delivered the same emotional payoff. He started reading fiction. Not self-help, not educational content. Pure escapist fiction. Same mental off switch. Different behavior. Within 3 weeks, the urge to open Netflix had weakened significantly. His brain had accepted a new path to the same destination. That's the method. Identify the cue. Identify the real reward. Find a new routine that delivers it. Now let's talk about the environment piece because this is massively underrated. Most people try to break habits through sheer mental resistance, basically trying to overpower the cue every time it fires. That's exhausting. And the research is clear that your environment shapes your behavior far more than your intentions do. Behavioral scientist B.J. Fogg has spent decades studying habit formation. One of his core findings is this: the path of least resistance wins almost every time. If the bad habit is easy to access, you'll keep returning to it no matter how motivated you feel in the morning. So make it harder to do the bad thing. And make it easier to do the better thing. If you're trying to stop scrolling in bed, the phone doesn't charge in the bedroom anymore. Full stop. Not, I'll try to resist it. It's not there. Cue eliminated. If you want to stop eating junk, don't rely on discipline at the moment. Just don't buy it. You cannot eat what isn't in your house at midnight. This sounds almost too simple. But it works because you're not fighting the habit loop in real time. You're redesigning the environment so the loop never gets triggered. One more layer to this. Humans are deeply social animals. Your environment includes the people around you. Studies on social contagion show that your habits are heavily influenced by the habits of the 3 to 5 people you spend the most time with. Not because they pressure you, often without a single conversation. Just through exposure, normalized behavior, and what becomes the ambient standard around you. If everyone around you works hard, keeps focused, sleeps well, that becomes the baseline you unconsciously calibrate to. If everyone around you scrolls, complains, and never follows through, guess what your brain starts treating as normal? You don't need to drop your friends. But you do need to be honest about what environments are silently shaping your defaults. Let's talk about one of the biggest reasons people fail repeatedly, and almost no one talks about it directly. They try to change everything at once. New diet, new sleep schedule, new morning routine, cut social media, start exercising, read more, journal daily, all at once starting Monday. This isn't ambition. It's a recipe for collapse. Your willpower isn't infinite. It runs on mental glucose, on energy, on cognitive bandwidth. And every single decision you make throughout a day, including resisting habits, drains that reservoir. Researchers call this decision fatigue. And it's real. The more decisions you make, the worse your self-control becomes as the day progresses. This is why people who eat clean all day cave at night. It's not a moral failure. It's a depleted system. The counter strategy is ruthless simplicity. Pick one habit to change. Just one. Give it 30 days of real focus. Build that win. Then stack the next one. James Clear calls this the aggregation of marginal gains. Small wins compound. And more importantly, each successful habit change builds your self-concept. The internal story you tell about who you are. Because here's the deepest truth about habits that most people never reach. Behaviors follow identity. Not the other way around. And this is the payoff moment. The thing I want you to sit with. Most people try to change their habits by changing their actions. I will stop doing this. I will start doing that. But every lasting change I've ever seen, in research, in real people, in myself, starts with a shift in how someone sees themselves. When someone says, I'm trying to quit smoking, that's willpower language. The cigarette is still the identity anchor. When someone says, I'm not a smoker, that's identity language. The behavior follows the belief. When you make a decision that conflicts with how you see yourself, there's immediate psychological friction. You don't just resist the habit. You protect your identity from it. So the real question isn't, how do I stop doing this? Who am I becoming? And then you make decisions from that place. Every time you choose the behavior aligned with who you want to be, even a small choice, even an imperfect one, you cast a vote for that identity. Enough votes and the new identity takes hold. And from there, the habits stop being something you have to force. They become who you are. Let's bring it home quickly. Bad habits aren't a willpower problem. They're a brain automation problem. Every habit runs on a cue, routine, and reward loop. You can't eliminate the loop, but you can replace the routine. Your environment shapes your behavior more than your motivation does, so design it intentionally. Stop trying to change everything at once. One habit, full focus, real results. And above everything else, start with identity. Decide who you're becoming. Then act like that person. That's it. No complicated system. No magic supplement. Just psychology working with you instead of against you. If this helped you see your habits differently, drop a comment with which habit you're starting with. I read them all. And if you want to understand yourself even deeper, the next video might surprise you. We're breaking down 5 rare personality traits that people who don't have many friends actually share. And honestly, some of them are signs of quiet strength, not weakness. You won't want to skip that one.